What I'm going to go over today is weight-based med-mat calculation. A physician orders an intravenous infusion of dextrose 5% in quarter normal saline solution to be infused at 7 ml per kilogram per hour for a 10-month-old infant. The infant weighs 22 pounds, which is 10 kilos. How many milliliters of the order solution would the nurse infuse each hour? Record your answers in a whole number. In this case, the order says it is 7 ml per kilogram per hour. So that needs to be worked out. So you're going to have 7 ml times the kilogram. They work it out for already. If not, would have say 2.2 goes, how many times 2.2 goes into 22, which will give us 10 kilograms. So they worked it out for us in this. So only thing I'm doing, I'm plugging it here. So I'm going to put 10 kilogram right here. 10 kilos. And this is per hour. Okay. So 10 times 7 give me 70. So I know for the 10 kilogram, they're going to get 70 ml per hour. That much I know. That's the order. So I'm going to go down to the question and I'm going to look what I'm going to read what the question is asking me again. The question says, how many milliliters of the ordered solution would the nurse infuse each hour? That is 70. It stops right there. 70 ml. How do I know that it is 70? Because the order says 7 milliliters times kilogram per hour. So I have to find out what the kilogram is. They told me what the kilogram is. 10 kilogram. And as I mentioned when I had you guys in the class already, you can do this a hard way if you want to, because what this is saying, for every 1 kilogram, this is what it's saying, give 7 ml. So if you want to, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can do that and then put 7 for each of them, 7 for each of them and count it. That's a long way. So at the end, it should give you 70. But instead of doing that, you just multiply it against 10. But see that you're in the test and you don't remember the formula. It never fails by using this, because what this is saying, for every 1 kilogram gives 7 ml. If this person weighs 10 kilogram, then you write 1 kilogram to the reach 10, and then you add up the 7, give you 70. The easy way would be multiply 7 ml by 10 kilogram, which will give you 70. So I'm going to look back on the question. I'm going to say, what is it asking? It's asking me how many milliliters of the order will the nurse infuse each hour? And that is 70. All right. So now for this question, it reads, a nurse is caring for an infant who weighs 8 kilo and is ordered to receive penicillin 25 milligram per kilogram intravenously every 6 hours. How many milligram would the nurse administer per dose? Record the answer as a whole number. So let's look at this. It says that a couple of things first. A nurse is caring for the infant. The infant weighs 8 kilos. What we want to find out is what is the order, because it gives you 25 milligram per kilo. So what we're going to do is multiply 25 milligrams times 8, because it says 25 milligram times per kilo. So it's 8 kilogram, right? So 25 times 8 give you how much? How much does that give you? 200 milligrams. All right, so okay, that's the order. I'm going to go back to the question, and it says they're getting this intravenously every 6 hours. So the question asked, how many milligrams would the nurse administer per dose? Record your answer using the whole number. There's nothing more for us to do because this is every 6 hours. This is one dose. And the question asks, how many milligrams will the nurse administer per dose? So that makes the answer 200. They would get 200 milligrams each dose. So I can take it further and I would say to you, total per shift, per 12-hour shift, how many milligrams will the patient receive? 400, yeah? Because if it's a 12-hour shift, right? And it says every 6 hours they get 200. If it's a 12-hour shift, then they'll get another 200. That will give you the 400. So let me take it a step further. How many milligrams will they get in a day? 800. Okay, because again, if 12 hours give you 4, how many hours is in a day? 24, so it's another 12. So you'd add 4 more to it. So again, let me go over this section again, all right? It asks, the nurse is caring for an infant who weighs 8 kilograms and is ordered to receive ampicillin 25 milligrams per kilogram intravenously every 6 hours. The question wants to know how many milligrams will the nurse administer per dose? That means per the 6 hours. You would say 25 times a kilogram. They already worked it out for you. If they did not work it out and it was in pound, you would have to divide it by 2.2. In this case, you don't need to because it's already in kilogram. So you'd say 25 times 8, which would be 200. The question didn't ask you per shift. It didn't ask you per 24 hour. It said per the order, per the dose. How much milligram would you order per the dose? And it would be 200. But I took it a step further and I said, okay, how much, because you may have some question that may ask, how much would a nurse administer per 12-hour shift? You just times it by 2. Because a 12-hour shift, if every 6 hours they get 200, another 6 hours they get 200, they'll get $400 for the 12-hour shift. But also take it a step further. If a question asks you how much milligram will the patient get in a day, if in 12 hours they get 400 milligrams, then in a day they will get 800. All right. Any questions about that? All right. A child is brought to the emergency department severely dehydrated after gastroenteritis for 14 days. The physician ordered an intravenous infusion to maintain fluid replacement for this child. If the child weighs 18 kilo, what is the hourly flow rate in milliliters? Use a standard 100 ml per kilo per day for the first 10 kilo of body weight. So let's do this. So the first 10, you give what? 100. For the first 10 kilograms, you give 100 mLs. For the next 10, but this child don't have another 10. This child only have what? 8, right? 8 left because the child weighs 18 kilos, right? But for the next 10, we're going to use this for the 8. You give them 50 mLs. And this is ml, right? The order says 10 kilograms for the first 10 kilograms, you give them 100 mLs. For the next remaining 10, which this is 8, you give them what? 50. Now, so let's do the math. 10 times 100 is what? 1,000, correct? 1,000 ml. 8 times 50 is what? 8 times 50 is 400 ml. So this gives you a total of 1,400 ml. However, this is what? By day. So the question asked, I'm going to go back to the question always. It says, if the child weighs 18 kilo, what is the hourly flow rate? All of this that we just calculate is day, because I know it's day because it says 50 ml per kilogram per day, 100 ml per kilogram per day. So I know this total is per day. To get the hourly rate, because this is what it asks for right here. To get the hourly flow rate, I have to divide by 24. Okay, and that will give me 58.3 ml. Now, it's good to round off because this 0.3, this is less than 5. So I'm just going to drop it off and the answer will be 58. I'm going to clear this again and I'm going to explain it over again. A child is brought to the emergency department, severely dehydrated after having gastroenteritis for 4 days. So 4 days have nothing to do with the MedMath. The physician ordered infusion, intravenous infusion to maintain fluid replacement for this child. If the child weighs 18 kilo, what is the flow rate? What is the hourly flow rate in milliliters? And I'm going to use this standard to get that. It says that for the first 10 kilo, the child should get 100 ml per that kilo per day. So this child weighs 18 pounds. So I'm going to map out the 10 kilo at first. Okay. Times the 100 ml per day. Then it remains 8. I know it's 8 left because the child only weighed 18 kilos. I'm going to multiply that by 50 because it said for the next, you will give 50 ml per kilogram per day. So I'm going to times the 8 kilo by 50 ml per day. So 10 times 100 give me 1,000. So this person get 1,000 first, 1,000 ml per day.
Hello, Professor. Where did you get the 8 kilo from?
Because the child weighs 18 pounds. 10 plus 8 give me 18 kilos. But because I am using this standard, I have to do 10 first. After I use the 10, only 8 is left. Because the kilo must equal 18 kilos. Okay, the child weighs 18 kilo. It says for the first 10 kilo, give 100 ml. Only 8 kilos left because 8 plus 10 give me 18 kilos. And that's what the child weighs. So that's where I get the 8 from. Do you understand that? So when you multiply the 8 kilo by the 50, that will give you 400. I remember we're talking, this is daily. And I know it's daily because this has day on it. This will give me 1,400. So even though this is in a daily format, the question, I have to go back to the question to see what the question asked me. Did the question ask me daily or did the question ask me hourly? It asked for hourly. So I'm going to divide this by 24. And that will give me 58.3. And again, by rounding it off, it will give me 58 ml per hour. All right, 24, the reason why, because it says the answer that I got, the 1,400 ml is a day. It's daily. Okay, it's daily, and I know it's daily because it tells me here it's daily. So they are, and daily means every 24 hours. So they may not write per 24 hours. They didn't write per 24 hours. They said per day. But we know that each day contains 24 hours. All right. So when it asks us for hourly, we know we need to divide it by 24 because it says that this is the dose they get per day, or this is the dose they get per 24 hours, which means the same thing. But they just didn't write 24 hours, they write day. And we know that 24 hours are in one day. Okay, so let me read the question. A nurse is preparing a dose of amoxicillin for a 3-year-old with an acute otitis media. The child weighs 33 pounds, which is 15 kilo. The dosage prescribed is 50 milligram per kilogram per day in divided dose for every 8 hours. The concentration of the drug is 250 milligram per 5 ml. How many milliliter would the nurse administer? Record your answer using a whole number. So again, this is already worked out for you. So you already know that it is 15 kilogram. So let's plug it in. It says 50 milligrams per kilogram, which is 15. Per day. So I know that this is a daily dose. This is a 24-hour dose. I know that because it says day and 24 in a day. So 50 times 15 give me 750 milligrams per day. Now, it says, here said the dose prescribed is 50 milligrams per kilogram per day in divided doses of every 8 hours. So the question then is, how many 8 hours are there in 24 hours? That is what? You divide the total amount by 3, which is you get 200 equal 250 milligrams. So this is the dose order, right? That's the dose order for one dose. So let's look at it. Here's a formula now. Dose order over dose on hand times the volume. So the dose order, we got it, 250 milligrams. So 250 milligrams over 250 milligrams times 5 ml, which is the volume. So 250 milligram cancel itself, right? Leaving 5 ml. Hence, the answer is 5 ml. Okay. Is that clear? Alrighty, so let me do it again one more time. It would be 50 milligrams times 15 kilo per day, which give us what? 750 micrograms per day. Now the order says that it should be given in divided every 8 hours. So we know that there's 3 8 hours in a day. So we'll divide 750 by 3. How much does that give us? How much does that give us? 250 milligrams. Now we have the dose order. This is the dose that's ordered. So by using the dose order over dose on hand, times the volume, we're just going to plug it in. Dose order is 250, we know that. 250 milligrams over 250 milligrams, that's what they have on hand, because it tells us right here, times the volume, which is 5 mLs. Milligram cancel milligram, 215 circles one time, 215 circles one time, equal 5 mLs. Okay. Any questions with that?